Welcome to another episode of Meet NBPD. We're at the New Bedford High School today, one of the finest high schools in the region. I'm here with Lieutenant Mello, and we're going to be talking about and interviewing members of our School Resource Officer Program. Lieutenant Mello, can you give us a little bit of a background on the SRO program? And we're very fortunate that Lieutenant Mello was also the supervisor of that program for many years. Lieutenant Mello.
Well, that's correct, Chief. I was actually the supervisor of the SRO program from 2009 to 2014. I had the privilege of working with some of the best men and women on our department. These men and women are particularly really good at what they do in working with the kids that are in our school and their families. It was a treat to work in that unit for 5 years, and I take special interest in this episode because I really enjoyed those 5 years as an SRO supervisor and working with this tight group. There's 9 SROs throughout the city. We have an SRO at each middle school. We have one that covers the alternative middle high school. Yeah. We have 3 right here at New Bedford High School, and we have 1 at the vocational high school. So why don't we take a tour of New Bedford High School with one of our own SROs?
That's a great idea. Let's go do that. Wow, look at this facility, Lieutenant Mello. This is state-of-the-art. Unbelievable. And here we are with Officer J.R. Ribeiro, one of our school resource officers. I hope he's not doing this every day, working out.
What's up, J.R.? How you doing, Lieutenant?
J.R., how are you? Hi. Well, welcome. It's great to have you on the program with us, J.R. That's all his friends call him, also known as Officer Ribeiro. Can you tell us a little bit about this facility? It's the first time I've been in here. This is quite a state-of-the-art facility.
Well, Chief, this is a brand new state-of-the-art gym that they have for the athletic department, as well as any type of gym or any other program. As you can see, there's a little of everything from football sleds to all different types of weights. I've been talking to Mr. Coach Ribeiro about this, and we're excited about it.
All right, that's excellent.
JR, is this the first year that this gym's actually opening, or was this here already last year?
This is brand new. It's probably about a couple weeks old, maybe about a month old, if that. Yeah, the school, the community, everyone's excited about it, and they're really looking forward to it.
So pretty much you're the first one to break in this bench, right, today?
Yeah, well, God knows you're in great shape, J.R. Can you tell us a little bit about, before we start talking about what your duties are as a school resource officer, can you tell our viewers out there a little bit about J.R., because a lot of folks, they're accustomed to seeing the badge and the uniform, and we really want to give them a flavor that we're more than just that. So tell us a little bit about J.R. Ribeiro and what he does off the job.
Well, I've been on the department for approximately 19 years, and my mother was a sergeant on New Bedford PD. She did approximately 30 years, and I come from a family, just a brother and a sister. Just a sister, and it's just unique about the city because my father has 12 brothers and sisters that all grew up and born and raised here in New Bedford.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what you do off duty? What's your interests?
Family time is most important, of course. That's number one. My kids love to play sports activities, and most of that time now is spent with them.
Shout out to your mother, Rita. Worked with her for many years. I actually was her predecessor for this SRO unit. She ran this unit. She actually started the unit. So yeah, shout out to her.
And no doubt about it, just a little bit of history. Sergeant Ribeiro, J.R.'s mom, was the one that was responsible for starting our domestic violence program in the city, which was the first of its kind in the state. So I know J.R. is doing it right and carrying on that torch here by representing the New Bedford Police Department. J.R., can you tell us a little bit about what's it like for you as an SRO officer and what you reap from doing this kind of work?
I think it's just being in the city and then working with the youth in the school. It's just a melting pot with all these different diverse backgrounds, and I like it because all of these kids in New Bedford or New Bedford High School are going to be the future of the city as well as beyond that because of the education that they're going to get here. And I like it also because it helps me bring up my kids. I tell kids all the time when I talk to them in classrooms or anywhere else that I'm learning just as much as they're learning. So I like the opportunity.
Now, JR, it's you're not the only SRO assigned to the high school, right? There's 2 others, and I had the privilege of working with all 3 of you. So obviously it takes a team of the 3 of you to run a place the size of this, right? I mean, and I know you guys have an incredible rapport with the kids. I've seen it firsthand. Can you share a little bit of some of the stuff that, you guys do with the kids, or throughout the day, how you interact with them, whether it's one-on-one, as a group?
Yeah, we'll often, there's all different levels of crisis or anything like that, and it's no different than an adult with a juvenile that they may have a bad day, and we can sense it working here and seeing them every day. They walk in, we're always asking how they're doing or anything like that, and they might shrug us off. So later on throughout that day, one of the other SROs here might approach them, depending on the rapport that he may have with them, and then we can try to find out what's wrong. Maybe the kid didn't sleep at home that night, or mom didn't come home that day, or there was a incident outside the house. So it helps us be able to work with these kids and catch them sometimes off guard and give them any type of assistance.
Well, that was a great job, JR. Maybe you can tell our viewers so they can have an understanding, because I know you've been around a long time. You've done a lot of jobs for the department. You worked in the narcotics unit, you worked in our juvenile unit, and now by choice you volunteered to come here and be a school resource officer. Can you share with our viewers, because you've been here a few years, a story that touched you, and maybe an opportunity where you touched a student, you really felt good about that, or a student touched you as well, where you were able to help out a student, they were able to help you out, either way. You have a good story that you could share with our viewers so they get a sense of the value of a school resource officer and the work that you do here and your colleagues do every day.
Well, Chief, thank you. There's one in particular story that I can remember that is still active, so to say. We have a program that reaches out to kids after school, the elementary kids, and we do home checks and everything like that, find out how they're doing, see what's going on at home, see if they need any assistance. And during that program, which is not going on so much right now, I went to a house and there was 2 young boys, they became their brothers, and I came attached to them, with the rapport that I built. And to this day, several years later, I speak to them and stay in contact with them every day. And if it's not every day, it's once or twice a week or whatever. And I, stop by on the holidays, bring them Christmas presents, and now both of them are doing very well, and they continue to strive in all different levels of life.
Hey, Leanne.
Hi, Chief.
Yeah.
How are you? Nice
How are
to see
you?
you. Hi, Lieutenant. How are you? Nice
Well,
to see you.
here we are. We're really excited and really happy to be here with Officer Leanne Fisher, who is our school resource officer from VOC. Leanne, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good morning. My name is Officer Leanne Fisher, and I have been with the New Bedford Police Department for 17 years. I started as a police cadet, which is a wonderful program that allows individuals to get noticed by the police department. I was also a police cadet, and now I am currently a police officer.
Awesome. I had the privilege to work with Leanne for many years as the SRO supervisor, and she's an asset to the school, vocational school, and any other program that we've run for the kids. Leanne says she started off as a cadet, and that's a reminder to anyone out there that is interested in the law enforcement field. We do offer that cadet program, and it's a great opportunity for any boy or girl to come and see what the New Bedford Police Department is about and get your feelers before you take on a responsibility, as we all have.
Excellent. That was a great point, Lieutenant Miller, about the cadet program, and we're really appreciative of Officer Leanne Fisher's contributions to the department, and especially up at vocational. Leanne, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you like to do off the job, because a lot of folks just look at police officers and they see us with a badge and a blue uniform, and that's all they see. But tell them a little bit about who Leanne Fisher is and what does Leanne Fisher like to do outside the job. People forget that. We like to laugh, play, and even sometimes we have to cry because we've got tough times in our lives too. So
I come from a very big family. Family is number one. My father is one of 15. I have 3 children of my own. I am happily married to my husband, Earl. So family is the most important in my life. I love to have fun. I love to be involved in sports with my children. Anything that they love to do, I love to do. I laugh, I cry. I'm a family person. My door is always open for my family, and that's number one in my heart.
Leanne, it takes a special person to do this job as an SRO. What do you find rewarding as part of this assignment?
What I find rewarding is seeing the graduates at Greater New Bedford VOC Tech in the community of New Bedford, where I was born and raised. I didn't always have the best of the best growing up. I lived in the west end of New Bedford, and I always didn't have. So what I like to do is see the children who don't always have and be a positive role model for them, to watch them grow, to watch them graduate, to watch them succeed. And the most rewarding is when they're able to thank the positive role models in their life when they become successful in anything that they do.
Wow, Leanne, that is great. You know, I think you really highlight what New Bedford's all about, that you can be anything you want to be in City of New Bedford, regardless of where you live and what your demographics are. And that is a wonderful example for our students. If you have a story you could share with us, that would be wonderful for our viewers to get a sense of what it's like to be a school resource officer. And officers are not just about arresting people. First and foremost, we're here to help the community and help them reach their goals.
Absolutely. There are several stories that I can share, but one that always stays in my mind is we know that suicide is at an all-time high right now in our city, and we're here to help that. That's an epidemic that we want to get rid of, that we want to help with, so our community can be strong. One story, a student at Greater New Bedford VOC Tech was suicidal. We had an awesome team at the school, but they requested my presence, not to arrest, not to get them in trouble, but just to be a listening ear. Sometimes just a listening ear is all they need to know that someone cares, and by doing that, they were able to think back and end up loving themselves, and they are now a successful psychologist. Without saying any names, this female is a successful psychologist who is doing the same type of work that I did to help her. So being in this position as a school resource officer, we have the opportunity to be a listening ear, a police officer, sometimes a parent to those who aren't able to speak to their parents. So that is the most rewarding. I have several stories. That is just one that I'm able to remember.
I know when we walked in, you were in the middle of writing something on this board. I believe you were doing some type of training. Can you just explain to us what it was you were doing before we kind of interrupted you?
Absolutely. At Greater New Bedford VOC Tech, we still focus on the ALICE program. The ALICE program is the lockdown program. The A is for alert, the L is for lockdown, the I is for inform, the C is for counter. Here at VOC Tech, we like to say choice, and the E is for evacuate. Our students have a choice to do anything if they're faced with danger. Any situation that they're in, they have a choice to make themselves safe and everyone else around them. So we focus on ALICE at our school to ensure that everyone has a choice to keep themselves and their community safe.
Officer Fisher, if you could just tell our viewers a little bit, what is your role as a school resource officer, and what do you see that mission as every day when you go to work?
My mission as being part of the School Resource Officers Division is to ensure safety for every student that comes into our building. When you pull into Greater New Bedford VOC Tech, first thing in the morning, I am one of the first faces that you see in the parking lot, along with the assistant principal, Mr. Wally Williams. We welcome our students in the parking lot. We welcome families to ensure safety, to ensure our students and families that if there's anything going on that they need to talk about, that we are the first person that they see. Our mission is to make sure that we are a resource, not only to the students, but to the staff, faculty, and parents of our community. We tend to, every single one of us is assigned to an elementary school also. We are not there constantly throughout the day, but every single one of us have relationships with the principals at the elementary schools. They call on us when they need us. They call on us to be a face for the elementary students, to see that they don't have to be afraid of the police, that we are a friend at the same time.
So, Lieutenant Mello, are we ready to go on to our next location?
Absolutely, Chief. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Thank you.
Come on. Thanks.
This is Officer Leanne Fisher from the School Resource Officers Division. We are here at Dell's Dorothy Cox down at Pier 3 with the New Bedford Police Summer Camp. We run a summer camp component of our program in the summer, and these are all the children that we have attending our camp this year.
How you doing? This is Officer Shane Harris from New Bedford PD. We're here with the summer camp kids. We took the kids down here to the marina to go on the boats with Sergeant Candido and Officer Santos. We bring the kids down to go on a trip on the boat around the water. My school is Whaling City and Trinity Day Academy. We run the programs for the SRO there.
I'm Leo Wasco of the New Bedford Police Department. I've been a school resource officer now for about 13 years. I've been working with this summer camp program now for a good 10 years, and it's an excellent program.
Zooming through the sky, little Einsteins. Climb aboard, get ready to explore. Climb aboard, get ready to explore. Zooming through the sky, little Einsteins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going on a ship in our favorite rocket ship, zooming through the sky, little Einsteins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Going on a ship in our favorite rocket ship, zooming through the sky, little Einsteins. Climb aboard, get ready to explore. There's so much to find, little Einsteins.
Hi, I'm Taya Leone, and you're watching New Bedford Cable Network. Good for you.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast. Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom.
It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving, if you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. you could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Always. Lock it up.
Hi, I'm Taya Leone, and you're watching New Bedford Cable Network. Good for you.
Welcome back. We're happy to have you back from that short break, and as Lieutenant Mello said, we're happy to have Officer Leanne Fisher join us here at New Bedford High School.
Great. So why don't we take this opportunity, guys, and just talk about the different programs the SRO unit does on a daily basis. I mean, I know we're here to, you know, for the safety and well-being of all the students, but we also run many, many programs. So you want to start off, Leanne?
Sure. Each one of us school resource officers take part of a junior police academy that we run at our schools, and we can pick 10 to 20 students, whoever wants to volunteer and be a part of that program. And I like to do marching, being former military, that's the type of things that I'm good at. A lot of the other officers play sports with the kids. They teach them about integrity, pride for themselves, leadership roles. So that's one of the programs that I take part of at my school.
Great job, Officer Fisher. And J.R. Ribeiro, can you tell us a little bit about some of the activities that you and the other two school resource officers run here at New Bedford High School?
Thank you, Chief Cadero. Over here at New Bedford High School, a lot of the programs that we'll tend to do would be after-school programs, whether it's in the weight room with the kids, playing any type of sports. We work with the coaches in helping them maybe identify some kids that are on the fence with whether they're going to leave the team, having problems at home, physical abilities or whatever, and we'll help and teach those kids some core values. In that way they stay on the right track and keep them busy from just roaming the streets. First thing in the morning, we're out greeting all the kids as they come into the building, and then once the first day, the first period is passed, we'll check the corridors and see if there's any kids that having a problem getting to class a little late, coming into the building a little late, and that's when we can start identifying if there's a kid having a bad day because they got here late, whatever the reason may be. And then after that first period rings, we'll tend to check in with the administration team here and find out if there's anything that had occurred over the weekend or that night, and we'll also inform them of anything that had occurred with the New Bedford Police Department as well, with possible juveniles.
That's awesome, J.R.
And communication is essential, as J.R. Burrow was telling us right here. It's communication within the department, within the school, and with other partners. Leanne, maybe you could give us what a typical day is like for you at Greater New Bedford Vocational Technical High School.
Thank you so much, Chief. My day consists of meeting my phenomenal security team that is over at the Greater New Bedford Regional Vocational Technical High School. In the morning, as I said earlier, my face is the first face that they see in the parking lot in the morning. There to greet all the children, make sure there's no accidents, keep order in the parking lot. When I come into the building, along with Officer Ribeiro, I check in with the administration, make sure there's nothing I should know about any particular incident that happened over the weekend that I did not know about. And then I roam the halls. Presence is key. Presence is number one. If the students see me, then they'll feel more comfortable speaking to me or trusting me. So my presence in the hallways is constant throughout the day as passing period occurs, along with in the cafeteria. My presence, I'm in the middle of the cafeteria at all times for all 4 cafeteria duties, lunch shifts I should say, so they see me, so they know that they can talk to me, so I'm able to be seen whenever they need me. I do rounds, I check the doors along with the security team at the school, make sure all the doors are locked, make sure the scissor gates are being used so no one can enter in without our permission. Another program that I forgot to talk about is the Youth Court program. Our department is very involved in the Youth Court program, and that is a diversion program for the youth in our community. That program consists of students who don't actually break a law, but I'm on the fence of doing kind of the wrong thing, like showing up to school late, being disrespectful to the teachers. And it's a diversion program that allows them to take responsibility for their actions and actually have a chance to change their ways with the help of the New Bedford Police Department and the Youth Court program.
Well, great job, Officer Fisher. It's a great point to talk about the youth diversion program. It's a great way to keep kids out of third district court and get them locked down with a record when we can get them on the right track. Well said. I'm sure both of you are doing a lot of high fives throughout your day while you're going through your day. Is that right, Jay?
That's correct, Chief. That's another program that the chief had started last year, where we were going to the elementary schools as well as in our own schools, and also the elementary and junior highs with the High Five Fridays. And you know what? We high five every day.
Well, this is a great episode, Chief. I enjoyed this episode more so than any of the other ones. This one really, I truly believe in the SRO program as I have lived it. I did it for 5 years, and it was probably one of the best assignments I had in my career. We've got some, like I said earlier, fine men and women doing the job as SROs. These are individuals that they took it upon themselves to come into this unit because they like working with kids, they like working with people, so they take a lot of pride in what they do, and kudos to all of them for doing a great job. And again, reminding the community, get to know your SRO, get to know the SRO in your community, in your child's school. They're wonderful people, and I can tell you that firsthand.
You're absolutely on point, Lieutenant Mello. And before we start to wrap up here, I just want to also say that there are special people doing this kind of work, and the importance of relationship building with these young kids who are our future. They're planting seeds every day in the minds and hearts of these kids, giving them hope and direction. And I personally am extremely grateful for their work, not only Officer Fisher and Officer Ribeiro, but all the other officers that are doing this kind of work. So cheers to each and every one of them and the rest of the men and women of our department who do a great work every single day, protecting you and bringing us together. This work requires all of us as a community: police, citizens, residents, teachers, and students. So we'll see you at our next Meet NBPD.